Hello there, and welcome. It's a wonderful day to be thinking about plants, isn't it? I often find that the greatest joys in the garden come from the most unassuming of places. It's not always the grand, prize-winning rose or the towering delphinium that captures the heart. Sometimes it's a simple, cheerful little plant that asks for very little but gives so very much in return. Today I want to talk about one such plant, a true gem that has the power to transform the dullest corner into a cascade of life and color. It's a plant that carries the sunshine in its very soul, and it goes by the lovely name of baby sun rose. This little wonder, Aptenia cordifolia, is more than just another succulent to add to your collection. It is a story waiting to unfold on your windowsill, a living tapestry to drape over a balcony rail, or a vibrant carpet to lay across a patch of tired earth. Every plant has a tale to tell, a history rooted in a particular corner of the world. The story of Aptenia cordifolia begins in the sun-drenched coastal regions of the eastern Cape of South Africa. Rocky outcrops, sandy soils, battered by sea breezes, baked by a relentless sun. It is from this tough, demanding environment that the baby sun rose emerged. This origin is the key to understanding its character. It is a survivor, born of adversity, which is precisely why it is so wonderfully easygoing in our gardens. It's also known as the heartleaf ice plant, a nod to its charming foliage and its distant relation to other ice plants. The plant's popularity has spread far and wide from its native home. Gardeners across the globe have fallen for its hardy, ornamental nature. It's a plant that works hard for you. Its trailing stems, covered in fleshy, heart-shaped leaves, quickly form a lush green mat. These leaves are a marvel in themselves. They are succulent, which means they store water, making the plant incredibly drought-tolerant. This is a plant that knows how to look after itself. Now let's get our hands dirty, so to speak, and talk about what this lovely plant needs to thrive. The good news is, it isn't very much. The most important thing to remember for Aptenia cordifolia is light. As its common name, baby sun rose, suggests, this plant adores the sun. It needs at least 6 hours of direct sunlight each day to truly flourish and produce that wonderful display of flowers. If you are growing it indoors, a south-facing windowsill is the absolute perfect spot. If you notice the stems becoming long and leggy with sparse leaves, it's the plant's way of politely telling you it needs a bit more light. When it comes to watering, the golden rule is to err on the side of caution. Because it stores water in its fleshy leaves, the baby sun rose is far more tolerant of being too dry than it is of being too wet. Overwatering is the most common mistake people make. Allow the top inch or two of the soil to dry out completely between waterings. In the heat of summer, you might need to water it once a week, but in the cooler, darker months of winter, you can reduce this to once every few weeks. Always check the soil with your finger first. If it feels damp, hold off. The right soil is also crucial for preventing waterlogged roots. This plant needs excellent drainage, mimicking its native sandy coastal habitat. A standard cactus or succulent potting mix is ideal. If you are using a regular potting compost, be sure to mix in a generous amount of sand, grit, perlite to improve the drainage. One of the great pleasures of gardening is sharing your plants with others. The baby sun rose is one of the most generous plants I know when it comes to propagation. Creating new plants from your existing one is incredibly simple and deeply rewarding. A perfect quiet afternoon project, and a lovely way to make gifts. The best way to propagate Aptenia cordifolia is from stem cuttings. You can do this almost any time in the growing season, from spring through to late summer. It's near foolproof and fast. First, take your cuttings. Find a healthy, vigorous stem. Use a clean, sharp pair of scissors or secateurs. Snip a 4 to 6 inch piece, cut just below a leaf node. Strip leaves from the bottom 2 inches. That bare section will go in the soil. Removing leaves prevents rot and encourages rooting. 2 options: water or direct planting. For water, place bare stems in a small glass of water with leaves above the waterline. In a week or two, fine white roots appear. When roots are about 1 inch long, pot in well-draining soil. A plant is never just a plant. It's a living piece of decor, a companion, and an active participant in the ecosystem of your home and garden. The baby sun rose is a perfect example of a plant with many purposes, each one adding a layer of beauty and life to your surroundings. Its trailing nature makes it a superb choice for hanging baskets. Imagine a cascade of those glossy, heart-shaped leaves and brilliant pink flowers spilling over the sides, creating a living waterfall of color that sways gently in the breeze. It's a display that brings instant energy and vibrancy to a porch, patio, or balcony. On the ground, it plays an entirely different but equally important role. In a sunny, dry spot where other plants might struggle, Aptenia cordifolia will thrive as a ground cover. It spreads quickly, forming a dense, low-growing mat that is brilliant for suppressing weeds. Its succulent leaves help it to withstand foot traffic better than many other ground covers, and its ability to root along its stems helps it to colonize an area with impressive speed. It's a living mulch that also happens to be beautiful. For those of us with limited space, this plant is a true gift. A single pot on a sunny windowsill can bring so much joy. You can let its stems trail down the side of a bookshelf or place it in a decorative pot on an outdoor table to act as a living centerpiece. On a city balcony, it can be a star performer, tumbling out of window boxes or railing planters, softening the hard edges of urban architecture with its lush green foliage and cheerful blooms. Beyond its decorative uses, the baby sunrose also serves a vital purpose for our local wildlife. Even the most easygoing plants can run into trouble now and then, but the issues with the baby sunrose are almost always simple to diagnose and even simpler to fix. The number one mistake, as I mentioned earlier, is kindness that kills. In other words, overwatering. It leads to root rot, a fungal disease that will cause the base of the plant to turn mushy, turn black. The leaves may look yellow and swollen. The only cure is prevention. Let that soil dry out, always. The second common pitfall is providing insufficient light. While the baby sunrose will survive in a shadier spot, it certainly won't thrive. It will become etiolated, pale, long, spindly as it stretches desperately towards the nearest light source. You'll have long gaps between the leaves on the stems, and you will see very few, if any, of those beautiful magenta flowers. The solution is simple. Move your plant to the sunniest spot you can find. Another issue that often goes hand in hand with overwatering is the use of the wrong soil. Planting a baby sunrose in a heavy, dense, water-retentive compost is asking for trouble. This kind of soil holds onto moisture for far too long, creating the perfect conditions for root rot. It's essential to use a potting mix that allows water to drain through freely and quickly. Finally, a quick word on pests. The baby sunrose is remarkably pest-resistant, but occasionally you might find mealybugs, aphids taking up residence, especially on indoor plants. Both can be dealt with easily. As our time together draws to a close, it's worth taking a moment to reflect on some of the surprising little details about this plant. One of its most astonishing traits is its sheer speed of growth. In ideal conditions, plenty of sun, well-draining soil, and a warm climate, this plant can spread at a remarkable rate, making it an instant gratification plant for impatient gardeners. This rapid growth is what has allowed it to naturalize in many frost-free parts of the world, from California to Australia, where it is sometimes considered a bit too enthusiastic. Another fun fact is its global journey. From its origins in South Africa, it has been carried by plant lovers to every continent, adapting to different soils and climates and earning a host of local names along the way. It's a plant that transcends borders and gardening styles, equally at home in a formal Mediterranean courtyard, a bohemian indoor jungle, or a simple cottage garden. So, to summarize, why is Aptenia cordifolia the perfect plant for almost every plant lover? It is forgiving, beautiful, and endlessly generous. It asks for so little, just a patch of sun and a light hand with the watering can. And in return, it gives you a constant display of color and life. It teaches you the fundamentals of succulent care without the high stakes of more delicate species. It allows you to fill your space with greenery, and to share that greenery with others through the simple joy of propagation. It connects you to the natural world by bringing pollinators right to your doorstep. I truly believe every home and garden has a spot for a baby sunrose. I encourage you to seek one out and give it a try. If you found this helpful, subscribe, like, and share for more plant care tips. Happy gardening!